What's up, YouTube? Thank you for tuning back into the Barber's Eye, man, and I appreciate you for tuning in. Welcome to 2025. Let's go. Um, so I got some time real quick before my next guy comes in. Today is Tuesday. What is it? Tuesday. It's about 3 o'clock on the dot. My next guy is at 3:30, so I'm gonna make this little video, talk about the business, talk about stuff. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. You know how it goes. So I'm gonna talk about basically how I got into the barber business and what made me jolt into the barber business and what made me spend the last 20 years investing into this business. And if you're into the business or getting into the business or you're motivated to get into this business, hopefully what I've been through could kind of give you a little bit of eyesight and on how to maneuver through things and what I went through when I was making this determination as a person to dedicate my time and my energy into this stuff. So 20 years later, I love it. I appreciated it then, but I love it now. And to be honest, the reason why is because it has gotten easier and my skill has gotten better. And when your skill gets better and when you understand how to run the business, when you spend long enough in something, it gets easier, and it should get easier. You know what I mean? It shouldn't be as hard, to when you're trying to figure it out. Let me adjust this. There we go. I forgot my little stick that I be using to record. My arm was hurting and stuff. So I got into this business, man. Really thinking about I was 20 years old. I really wanted to do something in my life. I just didn't want to do nothing. It's always had that drive in me to want to do more, and that's always been in my heart, always been in my mindset. So I said, you know what, let's go. So it started basically like this. I went to school. I went to high school, graduated high school, and I knew I was either going to go to college or do something. But to tell you the truth, it's not that I'm against college. It's not that I don't like college or anything like that. But something in me that didn't like the fact that I can go to college, I could go work a corporate job, and at some point, if these corporate folks wanted to let you go, these companies, and I'm not like hating on a company, I'm not hating on working for anybody as something. I think that's cool and as a career. I'm just saying this is what my mindset was at the time. And when I was working for, I had my own company on the side that I run. So I don't want to discourage people for working for anybody because I need people to work for my company. But anyways, so in my mindset, I just didn't want to anybody else to have that control over me, control over my income, control on what I do, control on how I live. And I seen it. I seen some people dedicate 20 years. I seen that this one dude that worked for this one company I used to work for, and they let him go. When they needed to cut a little bit of fat, when they needed to cut some stuff in the business, they let the people go that's been there the longest because they're obviously paying them more. So that's something that's been on my mind to fight against. I guess to not have that situation happen to me. And I guess for me it's the fact that someone else controls my income, my time, and my energy. Okay, and that was like the biggest factors. And I kind of almost like know why I feel that way, and I'll tell you right in a minute. But that's the things that bother me working for somebody. So that was another driver. So my family dynamic was though. I was raised by a single mom. She was on welfare. She was my dad was in and out of prison. My mom had babies by different fathers. So all my brothers and sisters are step brothers and sisters, but we all live in the same house. We all got the same love for each other. So that wasn't no big deal. It was just kind of the dynamic though. Because when you are raised from a different father or different DNA, there is different things that mind and how you carry what you do matters. I think. but being raised in the same home, has a good thing with it too. But anyways, so my mom was we were we were poor. We didn't have a lot of money. We had money on the first, and by the fifth it was gone, and then the food stamps came in, and we were spending food stamps until we ran out, and then we survived off the rest of the food at the end of the month. And that's how it went in my house. You know what I mean? And I always knew. I always had this intuition. I always had this understanding, like there was something not like normal in my household, but I never really thought about it too much, because when you're just in the grind and you're living life and you're living in your surroundings, you don't really know. You don't really think twice, I guess, about stuff. And that's what I didn't do. I mean, but I knew though. I knew something wasn't right as far as healthy, right? My childhood it was a cool childhood. It was an interesting childhood, man. Now that I'm older, I realized looking back, it was very traumatic. But at the time though, that is what it is. You grow up in your traumatic life and your family, and it's like it's a normal. You know what I mean? But when you step out of the box for so long, and I did work with some kids, and I worked with some therapists at a treatment center that I became a supervisor and a counselor at this spot. So that helped me reflect on a lot how I grew up, and it made me understand more. So that was like in my early 20s, mid 20s. So yeah, so my childhood, we didn't have a lot of money growing up. I didn't have all the brand new things. I didn't have brand new shoes all the time until sixth grade. My mom was like, I can't buy you, brand new stuff because it costs too much. So literally after sixth grade, I didn't really get new things all the time. Here and there, I wear my old shoes. My mom brought me some. I don't know if you guys remember Payless and stuff like that. So I went to Payless, and but then the shoes that she got from Payless was all the kids getting teased at the school was wearing Payless shoes. So I took off those old Payless shoes and put my old shoes on. So it was, I didn't want, just being a kid, man. But now, shit, I'll go to Payless. Give me some Skechers. Shit, I need some comfortable shoes. But yeah, so that was basically my childhood, man, growing up. A lot of dysfunctional stuff that I seen, a lot of chaos. But like I said again, it becomes kind of almost normal in your mind. Been around gangs my whole life, been around my family growing up in gangs, drugs, there's nothing wrong with it. I mean, I understand this, but I never been physically abused, but I've been around it in my life. I've seen people get abused and stuff like that. So just a lot of trauma, you know what I mean? And I think by the time I got to a young adulthood, like I said, I thank God for this, and I think this is God's will, you know what I mean? Helping me realize, like, that's not what I want for my life, And I'll tell you this another time why I decided to maneuver around prison or going to prison. Because where I came from, if you went to prison, it's like normal, you know what I mean? I was probably expected to go to jail or prison, and statistically, you know what I mean? But I didn't, and I know I didn't, and I know I didn't want to. So I was able to maneuver a little different, I am thankful for my street smarts though. I may not be a genius, but I have enough common sense, and I have enough street smarts to understand like how to do things in this life, and I'm thankful for that. But yeah, so that was like my biggest driver, I would say, like poverty, getting out of the poverty areas, raising family better, and having the mindset to where I want to do better for mine and give back to people, you know what I mean? So that was a big factor for me, big drive for me, just like I said, being poor, and just not understanding, that there's a better life if you want it out there. So that's something I understand now, and I've learned to understand it throughout the years. So barbering was like to be honest, barbering was a savior for me, man. Barbering was something that I could change my whole last family's decision making and do my own thing and create my own way of working. That's what I understood, the beauty of this field. And I got control of that, you know what I mean? And it all comes down to my decisions, what I do now. That's why I do go to the gym. That's why I want to do better. That's why I quit certain things that I used to do, and I don't do certain things I used to, because of the control I realize that I have now as being a little older, and knowing that I could change my whole family's outcome based on my better decisions now. And so that's one thing that the barber industry brought to me, man. And my mentor at the time that I learned how to cut hair from was Diego, and he wasn't really like a deep, detailed explainer, but he explained things to me, and the way he did it was very simple, very to the point, which I like. And that's how I learned. He told me what not to do. He told me, what to do, and that was it. Real simple, real to the point. No BS. And that's how I learned. And that's how I gravitated around men that around me that were running their own businesses and doing their own thing. And to me, that's what really was a drive for me. Also, because when I seen other men that coming from no fatherhood, like my dad. On the side real quick, I'll tell you, my dad was in prison for 20 years, and he was in and out of my life coming up. I had a brother that passed away, so like I said, a lot of trauma. If I'm not gonna let it all out right now, but I'm gonna tell you guys, that was the gist of growing up. Father not really being there, single mom, and then my dad being out of prison. And then I would see my dad. He would come around though when I was younger, come pick me up, come pick me and my cousin up, hang out with my brother. And it was good times. You know what I mean? I had good times seeing him, and but at the end of the day, I understand that he couldn't do what he needed to do in my lifetime, and that's okay. I don't want anybody to feel bad for me or anybody to feel sorry for me. Like, nah, man, I got my own life now. I'm doing me. I got my own way. I'm cool. Like, I'm actually thankful for what I had growing up to learn those lessons that were given to me. So I wouldn't, if I could rewind time, the only thing I would do is bring back my brother. That's it. Other than that, though, if I can go without the dad and all that other stuff, and I didn't have to change none of that, I wouldn't. I really wouldn't if I didn't have to. I mean, if I didn't, if I had a choice, because it's what made me and my ambition and my drive to do what I do now. It gives me that power and the understanding of what do I want in my life. You know what I mean? And I tell you one thing, you used to back in the day when I was a kid. I'm talking about like teenage years. You know what I mean? Feel sorry for myself and shit like that. But not anymore though. You know what I mean? Not anymore. I don't feel sorry for myself, and I don't think you should either. At any moment, talking about this barber industry, it's a real life industry, and because you're working with people, and you're working for yourself, and you're working. You build relationships with people, and you hear people's good and bad. They hear yours. There's certain people that know about my brother. Some people know about my childhood. We share those stories, and it gets deep. You know what I mean? It's not just about cutting hair. I mean, you could make it just about that, and some people do, and that's cool. But me, I connect with people, and that's just one of my strong traits that I have. You know what I mean? And I love it. You know what I mean? It's kind of almost funny because when you think about it, like, you grow up not having people in your life, and you grow up not having these close relationships with your family or your father or whatever, but you build other stronger relationships with other people that you meet over and then learn about them over time, and you build these connections. So again, that's through barbering, man. That's the beauty of barbering, and being able to do that. So yeah, so saying all that, for me, barbering has been an anchor. It's been something I could just drive. And like I said, I didn't start out the gate running to go work for myself. It didn't work out that way. What it was is I went house to house. I was traveling to houses. There's some stories that I could tell you, man. And I grew up, I don't know if some of you guys know, in Sacramento. I grew up in South Sacramento. Ain't the worst area, but it ain't the best area, I'll tell you that. And it's gotten better. Way better. I tell you, in the area I live in and I grew up in Oak Park, and I was born in Oak Park, and that was considered like a not so great area, but now that place has been fixed up. It's a little nicer. Still hood, but still it's nicer though. I don't even know the word they use for it, but it's people, there's different nationalities there. Everybody's, you got Starbucks there now, and somebody at the gym that I know, she went on a date out there to Oak Park and stuff. So I know it's gotten better for sure. I just don't go back there because there's no reason for me to go back there. But growing up, in my area, and growing up in where I've been raised, it's one of those things where, like I said, you understand and you need something, just like any career you're gonna do. You find a career, and you have a purpose, you have a reason, you have a vision, and you just drive it. You keep driving. And I was going house to house. I was charging $5 a haircut, but I knew the reason why I was charging $5 is because I had to put the work in to charge more later, if that makes sense. So coming out the school, some people are charging $60 to $100. Some people will pay, but eventually they're gonna realize, man, I'm getting an okay cut for this amount of money. Like, I don't know how long that will last someone. But if you got that Midas touch, or you got that skill right out school, and you're be able to charge that much, I ain't mad at you. I'm not speaking on that, but I'm saying, for anybody new, for me, I couldn't justify charging, even $25. This is 2008. You know what I mean? 2008. I was running around, and that was a lot of money back then too. Different times, and so I'm just saying, if you're starting out cutting hair, and you're even if you're putting in the work to drive to people's houses and you're not getting paid that much, don't even trip. Just put in the work. You gotta put in the work. No matter, across the board, no matter what you do, you have to put in work. If you ain't putting the work, you ain't getting life skills. And if you ain't getting life skills, you ain't getting the hands-on. And if you ain't getting hands-on, you ain't getting the skill built with your hands. You know what I mean? So I knew I had to just get to the nitty-gritty and go hustle. So that's what I did. I still worked. They used to laugh at me at this little job I worked at as a counselor at the treatment center. They used to call me Jamaican, because they said I had about 5 jobs, which I did, and I didn't care. I was a grinder, man. I'm still a grinder, but different type of grind now. Yeah, so if you got to put the work in right now, and I did this for a couple years. I didn't do it for no 2 months. I didn't do it for a month. I did it until I knew I had to go to the next level, and that's how it went. Because I was so focused on grinding, so focused on getting achieving what I wanted to achieve, meaning that I wanted to build my skill, that I was gonna do it regardless. You know what I mean? I didn't care if I wasn't getting paid. But let me tell you something. The crazy thing about it is, as I'm over here grinding like this, I'm grinding. All these things happen though, as I'm cutting hair. These stories that I'm gonna give you guys. Of going out there meeting people and cutting people's hair, and I seen people die. I mean, I didn't say people die in person, but I'm saying I cut people and then they died and I didn't see them. And then there's times where just experiences that I had, you know what I mean, with people. And I was cutting everywhere. I'm talking about in the hood. I was cutting in trap houses. I was cutting in what do you call that? Laundry mats. I was cutting in apartments. Anywhere I could cut, I was cutting. But I felt like everything was a lesson though. You know what I mean? I felt like everything was teaching me something. Even when I wasn't winning, like I said, I was cutting out there for 6 hours. I'll come back with $20, $26, $25, and ain't no one was tipping either. People are paying $5 a cut, they ain't tipping. So it's not like I was over here walking away with $100 in my pocket at the end of the night, but I had to put in the work though. I had to put in the time. I had to put in the effort to gain, you know what I mean? And that life skill, that skill with my hands. So I didn't even trip. And I would say the reason why I feel that way is because, and I kind of knew that in my mind, like I said, in my soul, is because of how I grew up. I grew up around gangs. I grew up around people in gang banging, and you that's just how your mentality had to be like that. You had to put in work, you know what I mean? And if you didn't, people will pull your card, you know what I mean? And so there was a little bit of the mentality that I had, I guess, putting into my work ethic, you know what I mean, if that made sense. One of my biggest mentors, my family man, was my Uncle Marvin. Man, he died way too young, but he didn't, unfortunately, he had some health issues, and, it hit him too soon. And my Uncle Julio too. Those two guys, man, were major people in my life that were like my rocks at the time that I was grinding like this. Marvin, Big Marv. Yeah, so I'll go on stories about them another times, and how they kind of how I could resonate them with my barbering and my lifestyle at the time, because I couldn't do it without them, you know what I mean? So yeah, so this has been like my journey. And then up to about 2014, I would say another journey started with the barbering, and it kind of went on to another level. You know what I mean? So the difference now is you're watching this on YouTube. 20 years ago, YouTube it barely came out. You know what I mean? Well, no, it was 2000. I think 2008, or so like that. So I don't even think YouTube was. I think YouTube came out in 2011. I could be wrong. I gotta look at the dates, but I know I wasn't on YouTube and wasn't using YouTube at the time. And a lot of barbers I didn't see using YouTube. So, like now it's different because you could see things now, like meaning that you could see like these barbers online and they're talking about they're doing this, they're doing that, and this and that. Like my journey was just homemade. My journey was really just in it at the moment, grinding, and I really lived it at the time, and then when you're living it every day and you're going through these phases, and you're gonna notice levels for yourself, and you're gonna notice levels moving up, and that's the dopest part about being detached from the social media, is that you're able to see yourself grow, and you can online though. I mean, I'm not, like I said, I come from a place before it was Instagram and stuff like that, so that's just how my experience went. So but now it's never going to go anywhere, so I mean it's never going to leave, so it's here. So enjoy your journey, enjoy and record. And there's so many conversations I wish I would have recorded, but just like you see that dude Vic the barber that's on YouTube and stuff like that, and good for him, man. Good for him for utilizing this technology and recording, and now he's over cutting Obama's hair and stuff. You know what I mean? So good for him. I'm not mad at him one bit, man. Smart dude. So that was my journey, coming up to now, and I'll share my part 2 coming up from 2014 around there. Just when my journey kind of switched up and even got more realer, got better. It leveled up, and some of these people that I've been cutting from my garage days still rock with me now, man. And I'll have testimonies from these guys, and you'll see how my level just went up. So man. So like I said, you guys got any questions about barbering, let me know. That's kind of like my short, it's 20 something minutes already, but if you stuck around, man, I appreciate you. And since you stuck around, let me give you this tip for you. If you're a entrepreneur, or if you just want to do more, man. The biggest tip I can give you right now is this: don't get caught up in your own mind, your own thought process, the negativity cycle, and blaming yourself and feeling guilty and feeling bad. Forget all that. Just go, just push, just if you're feeling something, just do it. You know what I mean? Your intuition is in your gut and your heart. Gut, heart. That's what's been able to get me through a lot of situations. It's been able to get me through a lot of times where I was confused, or I was scared, or I was nervous, and I trusted it and I just followed it. So just do your thing, you guys. So yeah, man, I hope you enjoy this video. If you need any questions, you have any questions, hit me up, or follow me on my Instagram too. I have your barber on Instagram, and this is the Barber's Eye on YouTube. So I appreciate you guys for sticking in this long video, and like I said, we'll see you on the next one, and I'll keep on pushing them out. Peace.